When you start learning a new language, should you first focus on the pronunciation or should you first focus on acquiring the vocabulary and the phrases? A good lot of you are interested in this topic, and while I love to take time to reply to the comments, I think some comments, like this one, need a whole video. In my opinion and language learning experience, if changing your pronunciation is a goal for you, then you should start with it first when you start learning a language. It's going to be very tricky for you to change the pronunciation once you've started learning your language. My English, for example, sounds the way it does because I want to conserve my Indian accent. So now if you ask me to fake an American or British accent, I'll actually have to learn them because I can't do it. It sounds so obvious to learn the pronunciation with the language, but in our minds, it kind of maps. So for example, my pronunciation, my version of pronunciation of a word in English maps perfectly with the American pronunciation or the British pronunciation. When I'm speaking every day, I can't distinguish, but I can say which accent it is. I don't know if this is coming through in words. What I'm trying to say is, if the American or British accent is a goal for me, then I have to work on it. And it's strange for someone who considers himself good at learning languages that he has to work on his best language. That's the complexity of pronunciations. It's not as intuitive and automatic as we might want it to be when it comes to language learning. So for my current level of English, it's more of an effort for me to change my pronunciation, all the body of English I speak, than it is for me to acquire new words or new expressions and so on. It's more difficult to work on my pronunciation because I'm just second guessing every word I already know. It's difficult. My French, on the other hand, I don't need to relearn everything. Still, some words in French I pronounce them wrong, but that's an easier fix than having to fix every word in French when I'm fluent. So take it from me, if you're learning French, German, Dutch, Mandarin Chinese, what have you, and if you attain it to fluency and then decide to change the pronunciation, you'll find yourself second guessing every word you already know, and your mind will try to focus between getting the message out and working on the pronunciation. And then at one point you'll just say, never mind the pronunciation, let's just get the idea out. A lot of my French colleagues at work now speak flawless English because their English is pretty good, but with a French accent. Because if they have to focus on the pronunciation, trying to get a neutral American accent, and if they have to get their message across, it's two processing threads, and it's better to just have one. Here, for example, is Gad Elmaleh, who is a French comedian. He wants to also be a comedian in America. He speaks English well, but here's him talking about his struggles with learning English.
You know what's the most difficult thing in English for French speakers?
What?
It's not the words. It's to know where to put the emphasis in the words. And you guys don't help us. Like, we tell you the words. One day I said to a friend of mine, he's American, I went on vacation. He said, what's that? And then he said, you mean vacation?
Yeah.
And they don't meet me halfway.
So if you've agreed upon a goal for your French pronunciation and you want to know how I did it, then you definitely want to check this video out. Thank you so much for tuning into this one. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves and keep learning.